I will be speaking, and then you can put it on the put details on the screen for people to see.
Yeah, I think, Prof, maybe you can just give opening remarks, then I can do a little
Yeah,
presentation. Yeah, those are
yeah,
opening remarks, how it started, and I will just put up 3 4 minutes to present the journal. And my colleague Usman, the technical guy, can come and give us more
yeah.
insight. We plan to do everything within 10 12 minutes maximum.
Right. Okay. Right. Good afternoon or good evening, everybody. Thank you for hanging around up to now. It's been a pleasure to have you all still around. I know it's getting late in Nigeria, roughly about past 6. You are there now. I have a pleasure to formally introduce uh, in a brand new journal to you, the Journal of Institutional Research, Big Data Analytics and Innovation, JIRBDAI. Now, uh, the story behind this, it's not that lengthy, but just to say one or two things. Um, we have this conference that we launched 8 years ago, or 8 or 9 years ago, thereabout. And we had a journal of big data analytics that was launched at the same time. But unfortunately, we have to rest the journal. So what we have now is a vision driven by Dr. Risland. And this is very important to have a journal that can be integrated with institutional research to drive, writing, publication, innovation, entrepreneurship, academic entrepreneurship in Nigeria. So that, in a way, in essence, what it's all about. But what is so unique about this, launch and journal, is that we are looking at a situation where we can have this multidisciplinary approach to publication. Now, for those of you listening to Professor Bamiro earlier on, he was talking about multidisciplinary approach to research. Sometimes they call it interdisciplinary as well. In other words, you don't locate research in one single discipline. It has to cut across, discipline subject. And so what this journal is all about is trying to bring colleagues in different, field of IT, IT technology, then ICT, we use the umbrella, term, management part of it, computer, health, education, business, all together. But remember, when we talk about innovation, people often ask me, are we looking at technology or engineering or science? No. Innovation cut across all disciplines. It can be community innovation. It can be teaching innovation. We can talk about medical innovation. We can talk about IT innovation. In fact, we can talk about process innovation, the act of changing the way you work, improvement in your process that you implement in your workplace, and that can be process innovation. So the journal, in a way, tries to bridge that gap, and most importantly, it keys in into the vision of Dr. Risland. Now, as you know, from last data that I saw, 99.5% of Nigerian university are not classified as research intensive. In other words, they have research as their main mission. They do research, but the reality is that they are not research intensive. They are very much teaching led institution. So this journal is hoping to change that narrative and beginning from the institution itself. So when we talk about institutional research, we're simply talking about a research that is actually located in a particular university itself. And that means looking at our teaching practice. It means looking at the way a university does things. It means looking at the curriculum as well. It means looking at how curriculum are organized, how teaching in different faculties are actually organized, and even looking at productivity within university. So it is very much institution itself, and then goes on to much more broader area, such as say analytics, as well as say general innovation. So in a way, that is the context behind it. So I mean, for me, the credit actually goes to Dr. Risland, and also the vision that he has. And so in terms of the process of getting published in the journal, I mean, what we anticipate is that when you submit a paper, it will be reviewed in-house first, and if you think the paper is worthy of progressing, then it will be sent off to reviewers to review and then comment. And I think that is the practice worldwide, making things rigorous, and that means you don't send off papers straight to peer review, and these people get the paper and they get upset. So we want to avoid that, to ensure that somebody within the editorial team look at it, and if they feel that that is worthy of progressing, then it will be sent off. So, and I think that is what needs to be said here. But most importantly, we are hoping to encourage colleagues across Nigerian universities to really key into this journal. I'll be taking the lead as well. I'm hoping that I can put a paper together for the first issue, so that get published, and we can at least demonstrate to people that we have quality in Nigeria. And BASE is actually lucky. University is lucky to house, what I hope will be a very competitive and high quality journal moving forward. So without further ado, I would just say it's a pleasure to fully launch the journal, and also to introduce it to you as well. But bear in mind what I said, institution is very, very important. We need to encourage research, small scale, looking at practice, looking at the organization where we work, and how we can actually improve practice. To me, that is the key thing there. Before we can even talk about moving on, going outside the institution that we work in. I will give you an example. I think I had one of the directors of TED Fund saying at an event that we put together a few months ago, that they have so much money for universities wanting to set up a journal or to publish, but academic are not assessing that. But why? To use Professor Kanapi's analogy, why? If the money is there, but the problem is not money, but the problem is actually getting people to be interested to publish, and that is actually very important. So I think starting from base, the hope is that we can encourage base academics to actually begin to publish in this journal, as well as other journals as well. So I will hand over now to Dr. Risland, and to demonstrate more in terms of what is on the ground.
Thank you very much, Prof. I'm sure today you'll be happy and fulfilled. We should have done this about 5 years ago, but now we have it. And as he said, myself, Professor James, Katambi, we are fully involved with the Test One project. And the last 3 or 4 years, we have been talking about disability rights and so on and so on. And just to share a little story about BASE, over the last 19 months, we were able to push forward in the university ranking. I think as at 19 months ago, we were around about 15,800 in the metrics ranking. But within the last 19 months, we were able to push forward. I think we are now about 7,000 plus position. And I told the Vice Chancellor that all what I can do as someone in charge of IT, digital innovation, I've done it. We cannot move further. I don't see us moving to maybe 200 further in the next 3 to 4 years. So we have reached all the levels we could through visibility in the internet. If you look at the metrics ranking, there is various criteria. The common criteria where we can really push so hard is the visibility of what university is doing. So we have done that a lot. And I told him that the only way we can move forward is when we begin to publish quality journals and articles. And people in this part of the world are not used to getting data. I mean, Prof can tell you, he visited a university, I think in one part of Nigeria, it was almost lynched. So he talked about data, he will get provoked and this and that. And it happens to me as well. I was in the university and I made presentation and I compare my university and their university. And they can't believe that we ran better than all of them. So, I mean, we put most of our emotion, most of our ranking based on emotion, that has to stop. And as I said, Tedford is pushing so hard to support colleagues to see how we can create visibility and also create academic entrepreneurship. If I remember, the director of research and innovation of Tedford said to us, and Prof is there as well, that before they have this criteria that's published in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 journal, but they have to lower down the bar that we don't really want you to go into all these kinds of publishing in high impact journal. We just want you to go through a journal that is visible in the internet, open access. And I can confirm to you, just that we don't have the time, I have a PowerPoint that I plan to play. Only about I think 38 journals in Nigeria are open access, and day and night they are dropping. And I was involved in the research also by the European Union, where we look at the availability of digital content for Africa. And what we found is we have few journals that we don't scale up. You can see journal online within 2-3 years, and that's it. If the HOD of the department, like HOD or move away, that's one of the journal. So very few universities that are more than 20 years old in Nigeria. And if you look at the visibility ranking and citation in the internet, it's not something that we base things within a short time scale, usually 30 to 40 to 50 years, which is a big issue. And most of our donors, they are analog, they are not digital. And one of the key things we observed is plagiarism. And it's not the reason most of our donors don't really scale so high. Colleagues plagiarize, and I was involved in the text research where we looked at about 70 journals from Nigeria. We got the e-copy and we put them into plagiarism check. After the substantial, we found out the average plagiarism score for journals is around 45 to 5%, which is really not too good. And another issue we discovered is something that has to do with integrity. You could see the journal editor having 3 to 4 papers, and most of the journals they are localized. And probably if you can remember after my presentation, I think in December 2020, we had this debate with the PC of Usman Ahmadi University. So he said to us, most of my colleagues will just cross over to Nigeria, just about 30 kilometers away from my campus. They were published in the regular journals, and we classify them as national journal. But somebody will travel 1,500 kilometers away to Lagos, and we still classify them as a local journal. And if you remember, bro, I said to him that it wasn't like journal and national journal anymore now. If you had a web journal, it's international. So a lot of issues, and I'm happy to announce to you, colleagues, that based University have about 302 journals that are running by physical journals. So we are hoping the journals can be transformed into this platform, which you can consolidate them into a single database where we are going to attract funding from the funding agency. The funding is there, but it all boils down to how do you put yourself to access the fund. So thank you very much, Prof. And as Prof said, this journal is an open access. We know how to print, and we plan to have a wide range of reviewers and managers. Maybe I will go forward if you don't have the time. These are areas we're looking at. We'll share the address and the editorial team, the submission is fully online, and we have the template for the submission. If you want to make a submission, you can easily log in or you register an account, and we'll be announcing the call for papers. We'll be maintaining the archives along the way. And maybe if you go to the editorial, you know, earlier, I remember in the Senate, we wanted to localize it. They wanted to make it based in the journal, but I have to really push so hard for that it's not going to be based in the journal. So we need to have people from different parts of the world, and we have the editors, four of us. Earlier, we wanted to have Professor James leading it, as the lead guy, but university have policy. They said somebody within the university must be the lead. But in principle, all credit goes to Professor James. And one of our colleagues, Professor Matthias, he'll be also supporting us. He's in American University, Yola. I think he's online. Professor Nasser Farouk, he was formerly with the University of Ilorin. I think he was the best researcher in 2019 in the University of Ilorin. And at the University of Ilorin, they normally used to award their researchers. Every year they normally used to give out brand new cards to their best researchers. And I know a few colleagues that have won that. And we're even thinking of institutionalizing similar culture here at things. And we are open to negotiation with the management and the founders to see how we can support quality of education. Then if you go down, we have contributing editors. These are our good colleagues, and they have been supporting to us over the last 8 years. We've been doing things with them. Then we have the rest of the editorial board, and the list is open. Right? Any one of us happy to join us, because it's not just about sharing money or sharing goodies. This is the work. Yeah, so the list is open. We are happy to put anyone that we feel we can contribute. And we have the guys in charge, the technical guys. I have an amazing team. And just to let the audience know, this is purely voluntary job. I think three of us volunteered to do this. Myself, Professor James, and the other wing. I have Usman with me. He needs to be given very thumbs up. Usman for doing that. I have Aisha, very amazing lady for putting all this. We don't have any budget for this. The university didn't approve a single penny. But the university already is paying for a website. We don't need to buy any website. And we use our own hour that Ben sent us to put this together with a kind support from Professor James. Maybe Usman, you can come and demonstrate areas around analytics. Maybe I can take it off. So this is the dashboard of the journal. We have where we have the journal settings, where we can have the identity of the journal, the publishing details, and so on and so on. We have the website of the journal, then we have the workflow of the journal. So where you can have all the reviewers, all the review done, the metadata is one of the most important things. It's not about publishing journal, is it visible? I've been doing this workshop, I think for the last 3 years in Nigeria, I've done almost 30 workshops around how do you make your work visible to the end. You as a professor, you must be a salesman of yourself. You have a lot of work. Nobody knows what you're doing. And from research and analytics that we grab from the internet and other sorts of literature, the top journals that make a lot of impact are not visible, but they're usually across journals. And so many organizations are now pushing off this open access ecosystem. If you are publishing if you are getting any grants, part of the publishing that you must publish your work in an open access journal. And beyond just publishing the result, you must publish the data, so that other people don't need to spend money to collect similar data, or you can use it as a baseline or as a benchmarking tool to extend literature and scholarship. So we are very interested in this metadata. We are collecting this, and to go down, there is other issues that are available for you to see. Then the distribution, and search indexing, and also payment. If there is any other integration we need to do, we can seamlessly do it. It's purely open access journal system, and we didn't design this from scratch. We leverage on open journal workflow system. It's free. If you have any serious developer, he can easily bring it back to your own ecosystem and localize it. Then we have the roles where we can assign roles and privileges and policy. So far, I think 3 people have registered. Then we have various roles and checklists. And in most of the journals, one person combines all the roles. Yeah, but here we have various roles. We have the journal manager, who's in charge of the technical platform. We have the journal editor. We have the production editor, the section editor, guest editor, copy editor, designer, funding, so many roles. Because as journal progress, you need to have more colleagues to support. Then the most interesting part is the articles. This is where we manage the analytics, how many views you have in your journal, how many downloads, and so on and so on. Then you have the editorial activity. You could see how many submissions, how many reviews, how many copy editing, production, rejection, acceptance. Because most of the journals are pushed towards making their own activities open. You need to know the percentage of acceptance and rejection, and how many days does it take to go through the peer review process. And so many issues, the users, and you can generate reports from the journal. And you have the tools which I have mentioned earlier. Then you have the, I mean, if you look at it here, the most interesting part here is DOAG, Direction of Open Access Journal. This is where you can build your tool or an API. And most of these indexing and ranking, they normally use enable you to export your data as Excel, and we share it with them. And then they use it for further analytics, which inform what research is done in different parts of the world. So I'm going to stop here, and if Dr. Mani is around, who Festus is also a founding member, close the section. Festus. Yeah. So I think, thank you very much for being with us, and we can connect tomorrow. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. To put up the first edition before end of January. We'll publish the report tomorrow, and we'll solicit for within and outside.
Yeah, call for people. Yeah, that's fine. And, well done. Well done.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Mr. Nuhu, we appreciate your time. I'm sure you are reporting back to the DC. Yeah, David is here since morning. Yahaya.
Thank you so much.
And the rest of the colleagues. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow by 9.